Have you ever looked around your neighborhood and just wondered, why are my only choices a single-family house or a giant apartment building? It seems like there should be something in between, right? Well, today, we're going to talk about the common sense housing choices that used to be everywhere, but have somehow just vanished from our cities.
So, urban designer Dan Perolik tells this great story about his great-grandmother. She lived in this tiny 650-square-foot duplex, just a quick walk from Main Street. For her, it was perfect. It was exactly the right size, in the right place. And you know what? That kind of story used to be completely normal for millions of people.
And that really gets to the heart of the problem we're facing. In most American cities today, there's this massive gap in the housing market. You've got these two extremes, and it leaves a whole lot of people without any good options that actually fit their life or their budget.
You can see that gap perfectly right here. On the left, that's what our zoning codes usually allow, big houses or big apartment buildings. But on the right, that's everything else, the duplexes, the fourplexes, the little courtyard apartments. Dan Perolik actually coined a term for this, missing middle housing. It's the stuff that's designed to fill that exact void.
Okay, let's dig into what that term actually means. Because when you hear missing middle, it's really easy to think it's about income levels or something. But it's not. It's about something much more basic, the actual physical shape and size of the buildings.
The key phrase here, the really important part, is house scale. We're talking about buildings that, when you're walking down the street, look and feel like they belong right next to single-family homes. Yeah, they might have a few units inside, but they aren't towering over the neighborhood. They're designed to just fit.
Now, we're talking about stuff you've seen before. Duplexes, townhouses. They create more choices for people and help build walkable neighborhoods. But here's the real kicker. This isn't some new, crazy idea. This stuff was totally common before the 1940s. We just made it illegal to build in most places.
I mean, take a look at this. This building is actually a triplex. It has 3 separate homes inside. But would you ever know that just walking by? No way! It blends in perfectly with the houses around it, which is the whole idea. You can add more homes without wrecking the feel of a neighborhood.
So this all sounds pretty great, right? It's practical, it looks nice. So what happened? If this kind of housing works so well, why did it go away? Well, let's pull back the curtain on the single biggest thing that's standing in the way.
Dan Perolik doesn't mince words on this one. The problem is zoning. He says that fixing our ancient zoning rules isn't just a good idea, it's a precondition, period. If we don't change the rules, we literally cannot build the kinds of homes that our communities are starving for.
All right, here's where things get really interesting. Look at this beautiful courtyard apartment building. It's about the size of a really big house. So how many homes do you think are tucked away in there? Go on, take a guess.
Ready for this? That one building, that one structure, manages to achieve a density of 120 dwelling units per acre.
Yeah, I know, it sounds completely nuts, but that's the real number for a building of that size and design.
Now, to give you some perspective on just how wild that number is, most city planners consider anything over 20 units per acre to be high density. This one building absolutely shatters that whole concept. It proves you can have a lot more homes without needing some massive, ugly block of a building. It's all about smart design, not just spreadsheets.
And that is exactly why Perolik argues we have to change the entire conversation. He says we need to stop using the D word, density. As soon as you say it, people imagine traffic jams and crowded concrete jungles. It's a loaded word. The focus needs to be on what the buildings actually look and feel like, not some abstract number that scares everybody.
So how did we even get here? Well, you have to go back to the 1920s when modern zoning was born. Perolik has this amazing metaphor for it. We're trying to deliver 21st century living using a 100-year-old operating system. It's no wonder everything keeps crashing.
Okay, but it is not all doom and gloom. Not at all. Let's talk about the solutions, because all across the country, cities and developers are getting really creative about how to bring these housing choices back from the dead. For any city that wants to make a change, Perolik says you need a diagnosis before the surgery. Instead of trying to rewrite everything at once, which is impossible, you diagnose the specific problems in your rulebook, pick a few key areas to focus on, and then roll out targeted fixes that can actually make a difference.
And one of the most powerful solutions is just giving people more options. Check this out. In Tempe, Arizona, a developer is building the biggest car-free community in the country. And the demand? It's been absolutely insane. People are moving from out of state just to live there. It just goes to show, if you build walkable communities, people will come.
And don't think this stuff only works in dense urban places. In suburban Nebraska, a developer built a huge project, over 600 homes, with just one dedicated parking spot per unit. That simple change made the project more affordable and proved that we can be a lot smarter about our parking rules, even in areas that depend on cars.
Here's another change that is so simple, it's brilliant. In Seattle, they now let people sell their ADUs, those little backyard cottages, separately from the main house. Boom! Just like that, you've created a whole new, much more affordable way for people to own a home.
And to attack the problem of how long and expensive it is to get things built, cities like South Bend, Indiana, are creating catalogs of pre-approved building plans. This cuts through so much red tape for builders who want to create duplexes and fourplexes, making it faster and cheaper to build the homes the city actually wants.
So to wrap this all up, it really comes back to this one powerful idea. The housing problems we have today aren't some random accident. They're a direct result of an old, outdated rulebook. We're trying to solve today's problems with a system that was designed for a world that doesn't even exist anymore.
The thing about the missing middle is that once you see it, you can't unsee it. You now have a new lens to look at your own community. So the question I want to leave you with is this. Now that you know what to look for, what housing choices are missing in your neighborhood?